Hello, and thank you for tuning in once again. You are tuned in to Esoteric Guidance. My name is Nehru. Thank you for tuning in. Soul Tribe Collective, welcome in new listeners, returning listeners, new subscribers. I am guided to share, to include confirmation words. Now to move into the second book of Enoch, or the book of secrets. Okay. Enoch wrote many books, but the majority of which, or the more common ones, are the first book, which is the book of Enoch, covers the Watchers, the Nephilim, right, the fall of man, and what it looked like in the esoteric realm as Adam and Eve were denouncing their righteousness for the sake of knowing good and evil. Okay, is essentially what happened. So again, everything that happens here on earth happens in another dimension as well. Okay, and this is something that I've learned through my journey or time with the Galactic Federation. This is what I've come to know. Okay? As above, so below. Okay? On earth as it is in heaven. Okay? Also, I have discovered the language in which I was seeing the Akashic records. Again, I have to get my journals to show you what those inscriptions were. But I've drawn, I'm somewhat artistic, I've drawn those letters many times throughout the journals I've come to know, come to recognize. Okay? That language is Hebrew. It's 2:33 when I looked at the timer. 2 minutes and 33 seconds. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 11:10 a.m.
11:10. 111. 111 and 2:33 on the timer. Alexa, what's the temperature?
Right now, it's 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Today, expect a high of 100 degrees.
Okay. So, Alexa back. So we are going to include, in addition to now covering What's My Aura and the Book of Jubilees, which we are a little more than halfway through the Book of Jubilees, we are now going to include and begin the series and journey through the second book of Enoch, or again, the Book of Secrets. Okay? So again, thank you so much for being a part of what Highest Divine White Light is doing here on this platform. So we begin chapter 1. There was a wise man, a great artificer. And the Lord, Highest Divine White Light, conceived love for him and received him, that he should behold the uttermost dwellings and be an eyewitness of the wise and great and inconceivable and immutable realm of Almighty God, of the very wonderful and glorious and bright and many-eyed station of the Lord's servants. Many-eyed station of the Lord's servants. And I read that on purpose multiple times, and of the inaccessible throne of the Lord, and of the degrees and manifestations of the incorporeal hosts, and of the infallible ministration of the multitudes of the elements and of the various apparition and inexpressible singing of the hosts of the cherubim and of the boundless light. Okay, so we are talking about the glorious one, highest divine white light, the epitome, the most epic, the most grand, the grandiose of them all. We are talking about divine source. Okay? That's who we are talking about here. At that time, he said, when my 165th year was completed, I beget my son Methuselah. Okay? So Enoch is Methuselah's father. Methuselah is Noah's grandfather. Lamech is Noah's father. Okay? But Lamech did not find favor in the eyes of highest divine white light. Okay? And this too lived 200 years. I lived 200 years and completed all the years of my life, 365 years. On the first day of the month, I was in my house alone and was resting on my bed and slept. And when I was asleep, great distress came up into my heart. And I was weeping with my eyes in sleep, and I could not understand what this distress was or what would happen to me. And there appeared to me two men, exceeding big, so that I never saw such on earth. Their faces were shining like the sun, their eyes too, like a burning light, and from their lips was fire coming forth, with clothing and singing of various kinds, in appearance purple, their wings brighter than gold, their hands whiter than snow. They were standing at the head of my bed and began to call me by name. And I arose from my sleep and saw clearly those two men standing in front of me. And I saluted them and seized with fear and the appearance of my face and changed from terror. And those men said to me, have courage, Enoch, do not fear. The eternal God sent us to you. And lo, you shall today ascend with us into heaven, and you shall tell your sons and your household that all they should do without you on earth in your house, and let no one seek you till the Lord return to them. And I made haste to obey them, and went out from my house, and made to the doors as it was ordered me, and summoned my sons Methuselah and Regem and Gadad, and made known to them all the marvels those had told me, the angels had told me. So it's interesting that Regem, R-I-G-M, or Regem, and Gadad, okay, R-E-G-I-M and G-A-I-D-A-D are mentioned here. This is the first recollection I have of these names. In all the texts that we've read so far, including the first book of Enoch, I do not recall these names being mentioned. Again, this is why it's important to read all canonical texts, Not just Genesis to Revelation. It was 11 or 10 minutes exactly on the timer. Okay? On the video. Okay, this is why. I'm talking about a well-roundedness. Okay? And this is also true in life. Okay, a quick life lesson. To view things from all angles. A well-rounded point of view. A complete point of view is a well-rounded point of view. A one-sided point of view is a karmic point of view. That's a shallow point of view. If someone shares a story with you, yep, my husband did this, my wife did that, yep, my did this, yep, my did that, my co-worker, my boss, my whatever, right? Before you form an opinion, it would be wise to get the other person's perspective. If you are not able to get the other person's perspective, it's best you not judge those situations. Even if that person coming to you is your best friend, spouse, child, daughter, it's best you not take just their word alone. It's best you not take just the minister's word between Genesis and Revelation alone. It's best you not take just that religious text. It's best you go into other writings. Okay? Chapter 3. It came to pass, when Enoch had told his sons, that the angels took him on their wings and bore him up unto the first heaven and placed him on the clouds. And there I looked, and again I looked higher and saw the ether. And they placed me on the first heaven and showed me a great sea, greater than the earthly sea. They brought me before the face of my elders and the rulers of the stellar orders. So the Sanhedrin Council, that's at least in part who those elders are. And the Galactic Council. And showed me 200 angels who rule the stars and services of the heavens, and fly by their wings and come around all those who sail. I wonder what the reference to sailing is there. All of those who trust the wind. All of those who understand that you know not from whence it come or from whence it came, but your intuition tells you this is the right way. That is the wind. That is the wind around your sails. Okay? And here I looked down and saw the treasure houses of the snow and the angels who keep their terrible storehouses, and the clouds whence they come out and into which they go. They showed me the treasure house of the dew, like the oil of the olive, and the appearance of its form. I bought olives today. I like black olives more than green olives. As of all the flowers of the earth, further, many angels guarding the treasure houses of these, and how they are made to shut and open. And again, I've often referenced the moon and the sun, and how angelic extraterrestrial beings control this. They control the rotating of the earth. They control where the sun shines, where it doesn't shine. They control these things. The timing mechanism of the universe. Angels control these portals. And those men took me and led me up on to the second heaven, and showed me darkness, greater than earthly darkness, and there I saw prisoners hanging, watched and awaiting the great and boundless judgment. And these angels were dark looking, more than earthly darkness, and incessantly making weeping through all hours. And I said to the men who were with me, wherefore are these incessantly tortured? They answered me, these are God's apostates, who obeyed not God's commandments, but took counsel with their own will, and turned away with their prince, who also fastened on the fifth heaven. Who is their prince? Their prince is Satan. He was kicked out of the fifth heaven. Okay, the fifth dimension. Okay, that's a great, that group made great songs, by the way. They have a great aura about them. That musical group, Fifth Dimension. But we're talking about the fifth dimension, in which Satan and those followers of Satan were exiled. Okay, 1701 when I looked at the timer just now. 1701. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 11:24 a.m.
Okay, 11:24. And I felt great pity for them, and they saluted me and said to me, Man of God, pray for us to the Lord. And I answered to them, Who am I, a mortal man, that I should pray for the angels? Who knows whither I go, or what will befall me, or who will pray for me? And those men took me thence, and led me up on the third heaven, and placed me there. And I looked downwards, and saw the produce of these places, such as has never been known for goodness. And I saw all the sweet flowering trees, and beheld their fruits, which were sweet smelling, and all the foods born, bubbling with fragrant exhalation. And in the midst of the trees, that of life, in that place whereon the Lord rests, when he goes up into paradise. And this tree is of ineffable goodness and fragrance, and adorned more than every existing thing, and on all sides in form good gold-looking, and vermilion, and fire-like, and covers all, and it has a produce from all fruits. Its roots is the garden and the earth's end. And paradise is between corruptibility and incorruptibility. So, the garden, paradise, where Adam and Eve were held, is above the plane on which we currently walk. Okay? So I'm getting a hovered above image. Okay? This is why they fell from grace. This is why they fell from grace. How did they fall from grace? or fall from purity, or fall from innocence. How did they fall? That's the first dispensation, is innocence. How did they fall from this? It was a spiritual descent. However, I'm seeing something. So Lucifer getting kicked out of heaven, and his deceit, his deceiving of Adam and Eve in paradise were simultaneous. I'm seeing that. Because he had to have been holy to have been allowed in, I'm getting cold chills, he had to have been holy to have been allowed in the garden in the first place. He had to have been allowed or holy to be in the garden. So in the garden, simultaneously, as the serpent was talking Adam and Eve into eating from the tree of good and evil, he had tried to be God and instruct man. That was not his responsibility. So in him, in the devil's, and Satan's, and Apophysis, and Apeps, manipulating of what highest divine white light had said, in the very same hour, in the very same day, he also, along with Adam and Eve, were evicted from the garden. And from that day on, the serpent was made, I'm talking, I'm not reading, the serpent was made to crawl upon his belly from that day forth. If you've ever cut a snake open, a snake does have legs, they're just not protruding from their skin, because highest divine white light has made them to crawl upon their belly because of the affliction that they put upon man and themselves, really. So again, that was simultaneous. The devil got kicked out of heaven at the same time that he convinced Eve to take of the fruit and then to take it to Adam. And two springs come out which send forth honey and milk, and their springs send forth oil and wine, and they separate into four parts, and go round with quiet course, and go down into paradise of Eden, between corruptibility and incorruptibility. Corruptibility is where we walk now. Incorruptibility is 5D. Okay? And the battles, spiritual battles, take place in 4D. Okay, in the fourth dimension. And thence they go forth Let's take a moment and thank Highest Divine White Light for these downloads. Let's take a minute, confirmation with the door slam. Let's take a minute and thank Highest Divine White Light for all the wisdom that he's sharing with us, and that our angels are sharing with us, that the Galactic Federation are sharing with us, that the extraterrestrials are sharing with us. Let's take a minute. Your word is ever true, highest divine white light. No one can take away from it, and no one can add to it. Your words are firm. Your words are infallible. No man can add to or take away from that which is written on the heavenly tables. No man can add to, and no man can take away from. Blessed are you, and blessed are those who follow after you. Highest divine white light. And thence they go forth along the earth and have a revolution to their circle, even as other elements. And here there is no unfruitful tree, and every place is blessed. And 300 angels, very bright, who keep the garden, and with incessant sweet singing and never silent voices, serve the Lord throughout all the days and hours. And I said, how very sweet is this place. And those men said to me, this place, O Enoch, is prepared for the righteous, who endure all manner of offense, and from those that exasperate their souls, who avert their eyes from iniquity, and make righteous judgment, and give bread to the hungering, and cover the naked with clothing, and raise up the fallen. I just got a notification, something about something's been verified. It was 27:02 on the timer. Something's been verified. Collective, Soul Tribe Collective. Something has been verified for us. Thank you, highest divine white light, for that confirmation. And raised up the fallen and helped injured, confirmation, and help injured orphans, and who walk without faith before, or fault before the face of highest divine white light. It doesn't say that, it says Lord. And serve him alone, and for them is prepared this place for eternal inheritance. And those two men led me up on the northern side and showed me there a very terrible place, and all manner of tortures in that place, cruel darkness and unillumined gloom, and there is no light there, but murky fire constantly flaming aloft, and a fiery river coming forth, and that whole place is everywhere fire, and everywhere frost and ice, thirst and shivering, while the bonds are very cruel, and the angels fearful and merciless, bearing angry weapons, merciless torture. And I said, woe, woe, how very terrible is this place. And those men said to me, this place, O Enoch, is prepared for those who dishonor highest divine white light, who on earth practice sin against nature, which is child corruption after the sodomitic fashion. Okay, we're talking again, Sodom and Gomorrah energy. Magic making, enchantments, and devilish witchcrafts, and who boast of their wicked deeds, stealing, lies, calumnies, envy, rancor, fornication, murder, who, accursed, steal the souls of men, who seeing the poor table take away their goods, and themselves wax rich. Seeing the poor take away their goods, so they take away from the poor to make themselves rich. So every fucker that has ever done a Ponzi scheme, right? No matter where they are, in Africa, Sweden, Australia, America, Canada, South America, it does Japan, China, Thailand, Russia, Germany. It doesn't matter where they are. And it doesn't matter in what timeline, in what year cycle, in what jubilee. It doesn't matter. They happen to be here right now today with us. And humans who are in the dark, who are functioning in low vibration and muted energy, they're functioning in muted energy, they continue to follow these asses around, is the exact download. They continue to follow these asses around. Again, Malachi 3:15, read it in the King James Version of the scripture. That is the spirit of these naysayers, these witchcraft workers, the ones who turn around scripture and use it for their own self-gain. These are the individuals that we are currently speaking of. How is it that these individuals, someone's asking the question, how is it that these individuals are allowed to perpetrate and get away with what they're doing? That's the same as asking the question, if there is a God, why does evil exist? Evil exists because there is a God. So the question isn't, if there is a God, why does evil exist? The question is, why does the evil believe they can continue to exist? Because there is a God. 32:22 on the timer. Okay. Waxing rich, so they take away from the poor to fluff themselves up. So again, many of these people promote themselves and propagate themselves as a minister of the gospel. Pay attention. Send me $50, I will send you this water that will heal you. Send me $50, $100, and I will send you this book that will heal you. 33 minutes exactly when I looked over at the timer. These are false men, false women, promoters of iniquity. Injuring them for other men's goods, who being able to satisfy the empty, made the hungering to die. So even though they have the resources to feed the hungry, to take the hungry on their jets, to invite the hungry over to their house, over to their mansions, and feed them, they do not do this. Why do they not do this? Because they are selfish, evil, manipulating, narcissistic, dark spirits that have convinced these individuals, these humans, like Creflo Lowlife Dollar, Kenneth Copeland, convinced these individuals that it is better to lie, cheat, steal, and kill than to give life. This is why. Being able to clothe, but strip the naked, who knew not their Creator, and bowed to the soulless gods, who cannot see nor hear, vain gods, built hewn images, and bow down to unclean handiwork. For all these is prepared this place among these. For all these is prepared this place among these, for eternal inheritance. Those men took me and led me to on the fourth heaven, and showed me all the successive goings, and all the rays of the light of sun and moon. And I measured their goings, and compared their light, and saw that the sun's light is greater than the moon's. Its circle, and the wheels on which it goes always, like the wind going past with very marvelous speed. And day and night it has no rest. Its passage and return, 4 great stars. Each star has under it 1,000 stars. To the right of the sun's wheel, 4 to the left, each having under it 1,000 stars, altogether 8,000, issuing with the sun continually. So the sun alone has 8,000 stars. I bet man didn't know that. Or can't see it. And by day, 15 myriads of angels attend it, and by night 1,000. And 6th-winged ones issue with the angels before the sun's wheel into the fiery flames, and 100 angels kindle the sun and set it alight. And I looked and saw other flying elements of the sun, whose names phoenixes and chalkidry, marvelous and wondrous, and feet and tails in the form of a lion and a crocodile's head, their appearance emerald like the rainbow, their size 900 measures, their wings those of angels, each 12, and they attend and accompany the sun, bearing the heat and dew as it is ordered them from God. Thus revolves and goes and rises under heaven, and its course goes under the earth, and the light of its rays incessantly. Okay, so I think we'll stop there for now. Again, this is the second book of Enoch, the Book of Secrets. Okay, so this is the new series that we will be adding as we continue our journey through the Book of Jubilees currently. Being the other canonical text that we are currently journeying through. Okay? So thank you so much again for tuning in. It's 39 minutes exactly on the timer. That breaks down to a 12. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 11:46 a.m.
Okay. It's 11:46. Any of those numbers for synchronicity's sake may be important to you, inverted, or as I've mentioned. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. 200 subscribers reached a couple of days ago. When I think of the 7.4 or how many ever billion people there are on the planet, more than ever, I wonder if there's a certain number that the population needs to get to also before the great, just for synchronicity, before we start moving into the age, well, we already started, before we fully move into the age of Aquarius. I wonder if there's a specific, if 8 million is the number. I wonder. Or 8 billion. I think I said million. But it might be something significant about 8 million. Okay? I'm hearing something that says keep watch. So be aware. Again, like I stated in the previous video, in regards to the 4 sevens, 7 dispensations, 7 spirits of divine source, the 7 churches of Asia, and the 7 seals. Okay, we know that there's 7 days of a week. Okay, we know that there are 7 deadly sins. In fact, Alexa, what are the 7 deadly sins?
According to Wikipedia, the 7 deadly sins, also known as the capital vices or cardinal sins, are pride, greed, wrath, envy, lust, gluttony, and sloth.
Okay. But the 7 that I mentioned, again, dispensations, Church of Asia, 7 spirits of divine source, and the 7 seals are 28. These are the 7s that are mentioned between Genesis and Revelation. Okay? 28 breaks down to a 1. Okay, it's a 10, but again, it breaks down to a 1. And that's oneness. Okay? So thank you so much again for tuning in. My name is Nehru. This is Esoteric Guidance, here to help us all become our highest, purest, truest version of ourselves possible, and hopefully shining some light on the ethereal realms and how they coincide exactly with what we are seeing in the 3D on this earthly plane. I encourage you to delve in, not just into what I'm saying, confirmation, not just delve into what I'm saying, but delve into your own consciousness, delve into your own subconsciousness, delve into your own awakening, ascension, your own individual journey here. Okay, because the hand does not do what the foot does. The mouth does not do what the eye does. So it's all working together, but it would be wise to learn where your part, your workshop is in the building of this. Where's your workshop? Okay, are you working in your workshop, or is it all cobwebbed up? Okay, spider webs everywhere, equipment don't work. Okay, physically or otherwise, equipment not working might be significant for someone. Okay, but what is your workshop, your spiritual workshop? What does that look like? Okay, is it cluttered? Declutter it. Take out the trash. How do you take out the trash? Removing those things that no longer serve your good or never really did serve your good. That's how you take out the trash. That's how you clean things up. That's how you clean up your house. Literally and physically. What do? You take out the trash, right? It doesn't matter if trash pickup is 5 days from now. Sit it out on the curb. Okay? Thank you so much as always, and be encouraged.